What up, what up, what up? It's your favorite shit talking squirrel back from the Darrell Books video. So today we're doing part 2 of an ongoing series I called Case Watch with Beefy and Friends, wherein I watch the case with a few viewers and we all offer commentary. We're going to be watching day 2 of the Darrell Brooks trial on this one. The participants' info, all their info is on the screen right now, but I will also link their respective social media pages or info in the description, based on their discretion. If you think you'd like to be a part of the next Case Watch episode, join the Discord. I'll leave a link in the description, but hop in that server, say hello, and just mention that you're interested, and we'll get you in there. Everybody who participated this week was awesome. As I suspected, you guys all have fascinating insights on this trial, and I think there was some really good back and forth between the group. This was really fun, and I hope y'all enjoy. Just real quick, I want to say up front that we do stop and discuss pretty frequently, not just on this day, but as the trial, as a whole, as you'll soon see. I know a lot of people get frustrated with a lot of stops, so, fair warning up front that this video will include a lot of that, as 6 people all chime in to offer their commentary, but give it a try, at least check it out if it's not for you. I totally get it, no harm, no foul, so barring that, I won't take up any more of your time. Let's just jump on into the content, shall we? Let's get this.
On my chart, do you recall the juror number?
I'd be guessing. I think I know what it is, but
Okay.
I don't want to be
Sure.
correct on that. But we can have the civilian bailiff provide us with that information.
I don't know if we want to do have that juror come out just to confirm. I know that the juror told the civilian bailiff who informed the court. Our concern is we certainly don't want Mr. Brooks to keep raising issues with regard to specific jurors, and we start using those
Imagine
alternates.
he just kept fucking calling out jurors one by one. That lady flipped me off. That lady gave me the fucking stink eye. That lady babysitted my daughter and was mean to her.
So the day before this, when they called the jurors out, he did this really awkward, like, swaying back and forth, and he was like, you can tell he was smiling at some of them, and it's almost like he was pinpointing, like, yes, that one I'm going to call out because she flipped me off.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, so it was like this awkward, just like swaying back and forth, like almost like trying to intimidate kind of thing. Like it was a very awkward thing. Like he was writing and all of a sudden he just said, oh, they're here. Then like crossed his arms and just started just swaying back and forth. It was very awkward.
He does that in day 1 a lot. He's just like it's like not even pacing. It's just kind of like fucking moving his body back and forth. He even did it in the pretrial stuff with his chair. He's like swiveling back and forth.
Right.
Just like can't sit still.
So I've talked to Erica Patterson a couple times, like online, and we've like kind of texted a couple times, and we talked about him a couple times. She said that everything that we saw in that trial is like child's play compared to what he is in real life. She was like, he is like a devil in human form.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it actually
Dude,
gets worse.
What we saw in that trial was mild compared to. She said that if you listen to the transcripts and when he's talking to her from jail, she was like,
yes,
that's him in full manifestation mode.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like
So
he's telling her to fucking bow down to him, and that phone call in jail where he's manipulating her, telling her that he wants to marry her, but she needs to stop talking to detectives.
That he sees her potential.
Oh, it's so fucking disgusting.
So gross.
I told her, I said, if I can get off from work,
one day.
I told her, I said, if I can get off from work, I would love to fly to fucking Milwaukee just to sit in that courtroom with you while you're sitting there, while you're facing him, just so he could just be fucking
coming out of his ears.
Yeah. I told her that. Like I said, I will fly out to Milwaukee just to sit next to you in that courtroom, just so I could just rub it in his fucking face.
Like walking the court, holding her hand, watching her head
exactly. Exactly. Like fucking basically standing up and cheering when she walks to the stand to testify.
And brushing
To
her
carry
hair
her out.
back.
Yeah,
It's
carry her out
okay.
on
It's
a big
okay.
fucking throne with like 6 guys fucking holding her up.
DB's gonna catch like an RKO from me, real quick, if I go over there.
Watch out, watch out, watch
That
out,
would
watch
be the
out.
best.
That guy's a fucking
KO
piece
out of
of shit.
nowhere.
It's up.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd prefer to be on the record that that juror was not at the initial appearance. I know that the 3 of us were at the initial appearance. There was an older woman
A devil
who
in
did,
human form.
I ended up talking to her during the proceeding. She was not the juror that was described yesterday or that I saw yesterday with the clothes that Mr. Brooks indicated she was wearing. So I just really would like that to be put on the record that that juror, in fact, was not at the initial appearance, and have her come in, provide her name, and do that. Or the juror number, not her name, her juror.
So my understanding is that following what Mr. Brooks described happening at the initial appearance, there was a woman that one of the deputies spoke with and warned her. It's my understanding that woman may have been in the gallery on Monday and was warned about behavior then. I have issued an order. She is not allowed back in these proceedings because of that. I believe we know her identity, and I can tell you with certainty it is not our juror. So, and if there's anything else, any other requests, I don't think it's necessary to bring that juror out, given that record. But I will certainly do that if the state feels, or Mr. Brooks, that that's important for their understanding or confirmation at this point.
Yeah, and I think what would be important is to note if her pool number is the first 41. Mr. Brooks actually was in court on day 1 of jury selection, I know for a fact. I'm in looking at my notes, it's unclear to me if he was present at any time in day 2 of jury selection. I know he was in day 1. So his claim that he was unable to see the juror at the time, obviously if it's a juror from day 1, he was able to see her because he was in court with her. So that would also be something, I guess if we could establish that she was part of the first 41, then I think the record is clear that the defendant was in court when the first 41 were brought out, and therefore he could have objected at that time.
I will get confirmation of the number.
So there was a video of a lady flipping him off, but that was like one of the victim's family members.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I had a video of that on one of my videos. Pretty sure.
Oh, okay. That's probably where I saw it.
Sorry, guys, for the side talk.
Yeah, no worries, man.
So no wonder Erica said that this guy was a devil, because like he had his claws in her since she was like 14, before she could even have that frontal lobe developed. He was manipulating her from the
Yeah, it
get-go.
was straight grooming.
He
There's
had
really no way to describe
yeah,
it.
oh yeah, it was pedophilic grooming from the beginning.
Yeah.
And she looks
Yeah, that
so
poor girl
young
had
for
no
30.
shot.
Like we're the same age, and she looks like she's 16 now. So you just wonder how little she looked back then. You know, she's so baby
Yeah,
faced
wow.
still now, and she has like 5 kids. I'm like, girl, you look like a kid yourself.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
no
I
shit.
totally believe that the only reason he took this to trial is that was the only way he knew this would be, her like in the same room as him again. I
Oh,
think this is
absolutely.
the only
Absolutely.
reason he did all this, just so he can get that,
Yep.
talking to her and giving her the looks like,
Under
yeah.
control.
Oh,
And I
And
got
that was
news
the
for you guys.
only case he cared about the whole time. He didn't care anything about killing all those other people or hurting them. They didn't argue any of that, really. He just kept arguing about Erica. That was the only part of the trial he cared about.
It's
I
like
think
the only
his
time he gets all
goal-
worked up.
And I got news for you guys. That's why he's going to represent himself in this new trial stuff that's coming up.
Oh yeah, he's gonna
he
fire
wants to-
fire his people like 2 days before again, after they've done all
Yeah.
the legwork for him.
He's a monster.
Oh,
And we'll go from there as well. Any requests as relates to that, Mr. Brooks?
Before I get to that whole issue, Your Honor, if I may,
Here we
I would
go.
like to,
yeah. And
May.
it begins.
to reflect.
all due respect, then.
I personally don't identify by that name. I am here as a third-party intervener in that matter appearing as an authorized representative.
It's the part in the trial. I don't know exactly what part it was, but it's something like where he's arguing back and forth with the judge, and she goes, something she says to him, and he goes, no. When he asks her if you're asking me or if you're telling me, when he does that whole thing, and then he's like, well, because you know what'll happen if it's the other. I wanted to fucking throw something at my television.
Oh, I missed that. He like threatens
Like,
her.
it's like I watch so much of this trial every day. I wish I could tell you guys the exact clip it is, but it's like one of those times where he's like, well, if you're asking me or are you telling me or something like that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't answer him quick enough. And he goes under his breath, but the mic picks it up. Yeah, because you know what the other one will entail. I was like, I looked at my girlfriend. I
Oh
was
man,
like,
what a fucking asshole!
Yeah, he says that. I gotta find that clip. He says that, and I was like, yo, this dude is a fucking.
Was that the
Yeah, I have.
was that the suit conversation when she's telling him to put on his suit?
It may be, but I think it's around the time. I only can tell these clips based off of the shirt he's wearing. I think it's one of the times when he has like the overgrown blue shirt on.
The
Like,
blue shirt.
I think we're
15-minute
talking
ranch
about
shirt.
like day 15 again, where it's that gray overgrown shirt with the checkered tie that he always wears that outfit and he's like nutso.
Yeah.
The days that he doesn't wear his mask, and we're like, dude, put the orange shirt over your face, please.
Yeah.
I think I heard on one of your videos, I heard that you said that he looks worse when he doesn't have the mask on. But I think he looks more sinister when you only can see those fucking devil eyes of his when he has that mask on. I think
No
he's
man,
more
those
manipulating when he has that
teeth,
mask on.
like those teeth make the hair on my neck stand up. Like I'm like, nope.
Damn! Oh my god, it's
My hairs are
horrifying.
made of.
Dude, him trying to do that flirty thing, it's almost like he does like the eye blink when he's like, like a little smile and cocks his head back and eye blinks a bunch of times. It's like he's trying to do that weird flirtation thing. It's absolutely banana sandwich disgusting.
He's a piece
Have
of
you
shit.
seen him smile at the judge when he's like, "Do you need me to make a motion?" And I just want to vomit. I want to vomit.
Like when he's
There's
talking
another
about
part
bugs in his cereal and he gives her a little smirk. Cereal in
Yes.
your bowl and it got bugs in it, and he gives her a little smirk.
Does he? That's
Gotta say
disgusting.
this one, you good.
Watching these videos, man, I think I need therapy now because I've never fucking hated a person as much as that.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I really have moments where like I genuinely get like visibly upset watching this guy. But
Yes.
it's really hard to describe. Like he makes me. I've never been so angry at somebody that's like a public figure. Like I can get frustrated at people in my own life, but I'll be watching this trial sometimes. Like the stuff with Erica really fucking sets me off. But he'll say or do like one thing just a certain way, and it's like it's so egregiously disrespectful. I fucking get angry for the person he's talking to. It's
Yes.
like, oh, I want to fucking,
Yes.
like you
It's
said,
like secondhand
smack my
anger
TV.
instead of secondhand embarrassment.
It's fucking
100%.
it's like so like it's oh, I can't even think of the words. I was about to say mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrible. Like the way that he talks to that fucking judge, I just be wanting to say, wish I can just scream out like, yo, fucking throw him out of that fucking courtroom. But I guess it was a method to her madness. But he's a piece of shit.
Like I mean, if
the one lawyer said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If she finds him in contempt, he's going to go to jail where he wants to be, and he's going to sit there. He wants to drag this out, and he wanted to make this go longer because he wanted to make them pay more to go through this.
Yeah.
But
like
on that
Oscar said at one point, the judge has every right and can and should have said, just sit down and shut up.
Because I see a
in
lot
that
of
Illinois versus Allen, right? Doesn't she have one of those? I mean, I guess one of those rules on that Illinois versus Allen is that she can gag his ass. Like, I wish that she would have just used that once, just like gag.
Oh my god, would have been so epic.
He's arguing for you made up the fourth option and you have no right to make up the fourth option. So you would rather not be muted but you'd rather be bound and gagged.
Yeah, he
Which
loves
is
it.
a little
Gag
arguing
it.
ball
to
in his
be
mouth.
bound and gagged.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
All I
Think about what
picture
you're
is
arguing, idiot.
all
such
I
an
can
idiot.
picture are
Those
those like
people, those
big
victims,
rubber balls.
they are fucking nice. Like man, I wish those people had way more restraint than me. Those victims, because I don't see how I can sit there in that courtroom and not pick up a chair and throw it at the back of his head.
But he's
Like,
Yeah,
saying,
really.
who's the injured party? Who can sign a claim against me? And the families are there saying there's no injured party.
that's a
The injured
shame.
parties are dead.
You
Like-
shithead.
And there's 68 other people you injured. Like, where's the injured party? Look around. They're all over.
He's disgusting.
They
In
have
that
more
matter,
self-control than I would.
as
I
authorized
couldn't. I would have picked up a
representative,
chair and
Couldn't
threw it
even
at his
imagine.
accept for value and return for value all the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available
He's
for
doing the
discharge
sovereign thing
of
like all wrong,
Ugh.
which is it's a bullshit method anyway. But he's doing this. Yeah, it's stupid.
allegations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments. Issue of the juror, I was maybe briefly present when the first wave of jurors were brought in. I didn't recall really being in here long enough to really get a look at the jurors coming in because I was removed at that time. Actually, either they were coming in or shortly after they were brought in, I was removed. I definitely was not present for the second and third wave. I was in the other courtroom, so I can't see the jurors from the other courtroom on the monitor, so it wouldn't possibly be that I would have seen the juror that I was referring to yesterday.
Understanding that that may very well be true, my recollection is you were removed pretty quickly due to an interruption early on. I don't have my notes in front of me as to when you were brought in or not, but I am advising you that I was able to confirm with others, including law enforcement, that the juror that you suspected was the woman who made an inappropriate gesture toward you at the initial appearance. They are not the same individuals. I've been able to confirm that. I know the identity of the woman who did what you said, and it is not this juror.
Is there any way that I can be sure of that?
Do you want to have juror, I think it might be 41, I don't want to guess. But
I'm going to disconnect. I got to do
You
this
there?
with you guys another day. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna disconnect because I'm at work. I got called in. I'm sorry. I don't want to ruin you guys' thing.
Oh, no, you're fine, man. Yeah, let's do it another time.
Yeah, we'll do it another. You guys have fun, man. I hope that fucking shithead gets what he deserves in jail. Hopefully
Yeah,
he will.
actually, it's crazy that you're friends with Erica and you got a lot of
Oh,
great
yeah.
things to say. So
Like,
let's definitely.
I sent her a couple messages and stuff, and like she like responded. So we like talk like maybe like once a week, and she's doing really really good. She loves your videos too. So
Oh, no way!
she loves your videos.
We gotta get her on here, Beefy. We gotta work on that.
She loves your videos. She loves Jay Naive's videos, and then it's another lady. This family does everything. She loves
Yeah.
all her
Yeah.
videos. She watches, dude. So trust me, she works at night. So she says when she wakes up during the day, she watches a lot of these videos. So she did tell
No
me to let you
shit.
guys. Yep.
Tell her I'd
So-
love to do an interview if she'd be interested.
And she would do it in a heartbeat. Instagram her. I'll send you her Instagram link. Instagram, and she does interviews all the time.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Yep. And she's trying to do her own YouTube channel because a lot of people hit her up about like, him and the trial and the upcoming trials. So she was like, she's trying to get traffic to her page. So she will do an interview with you in a heartbeat.
No doubt. All right, man.
All right, later. You guys have a good day.
You too.
Yeah, you too, man.
You
Later.
too.
I've been able to confirm that. I know the identity of the woman who did what you said, and it is not this juror.
Is there any way that I can be sure of that?
Can I be sure?
Do you want to have juror, I think it might be 41, I don't want to.
Like, what do you even say to that?
Yeah.
It's so nonsensical. How do I make
What's
you
gr-
sure of something that happened right in front of you?
yeah, it's like his whole fucking I don't understand thing. Like he's never going to. There's nothing she can do to fix that.
It's just a
Oh
classic, like she says yes, he says no, she says sit, he's standing. Just no matter what it is, he's gonna. I don't know. It's sick.
yeah, Captain Opposite, fucking Bizarro.
I guess. But I can bring that juror out when the jurors get here, and we can have her under oath testify that she was not at your initial appearance or any of the proceedings in this case. I'm able to do that.
That would be helpful, Your Honor.
All right. Can we check to see where they're at and if they're here? And if so, to have that juror brought out.
At least being somewhat restrained this morning. After yesterday, this is definitely a
Probably
better
best we have
Darrell.
a record of that juror number with specificity in any event.
One person at initial appearance who made a hand gesture.
Is this after the COVID day? Like, is this after the COVID day?
No, I don't think the COVID day has
No.
happened yet.
COVID, I think, is like day 5.
Because he was still wearing the orange, but I think the COVID might have been like a prior to day 1. I think, because I think he was still in the orange, but
No, I think they were at trial already.
Yeah.
Record that if there was a second person, it's not the juror that's impaneled in this case.
I'm not aware of another.
Nor am I.
Hopper. She's like, here we fucking go again.
dude, Opera is a general. She is a general.
What
But
a
I want to
general.
know
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's been going on in Zach's head the whole time.
Oh my god, can
he's
you
just
imagine if he was
pissed.
the head DA? He would have fucking gone to war with Brooks. He's the only one that really takes the fucking stones to call him out. If he was the DA for this case, it would have been a very different fucking trial.
Very different. Well, because Brooks isn't going to go. He's not going to go toe to toe with a man. First of all.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, even Brooks's position on a lot of things would have been a lot different if he was going against Switch Out.
Because you have a female prosecutor, a female judge. If all those seats were taken over by men, then it would have been a completely different trial.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but
though,
do you think? So I think there's a question because I see people they either love Jennifer Dora or hate her, say she was weak, this and that. But I think his tactics, she had to be careful, obviously. So we knew what she was doing with the whole not holding him in contempt, just to waste all the time. But if it were like people say, should have had a Judge Judy type. But if someone played his game,
oh man, Judge Judy, that would have been
Could you imagine?
Awesome.
This trial would have still been going on. Like if we had someone abrasive, he would have, fed into Darrell Brooks's game, and I think this trial would still be going on because they'd just be constantly arguing. So I think Doro, I don't picture her as weak.
I definitely don't think that she's weak.
Yeah,
I think everything Doro did was as methodical as Brooks, because she was not going to give an inch or a sentence that was going to be said in that courtroom that was going to be able to come up for appeal. So everything she did was as methodical as Brooks was.
Yes, because
she is not new to being on the bench either. She's been on the bench for 11 years, and before that, she worked for the DA, and then she was a defense attorney. So she's been around the block a little bit. She knows what she's doing. And
she's also the head judge at that courthouse. She's the one who decides everything. I'll be the first one to throw my hands up and say, look, I don't know enough about judging or law in general to really make an educated call about whether or not she did a good job or not. But I do get frustrated at times. She flat out contributes to the bickering at certain points. I love the way she handled this, and she did the best she could, and she conferred. She says all the time that she was conferring with people to make sure she was making the right decisions. But there are times where it's like, just stop arguing with him, man. Like, just stop arguing with him.
Sometimes the approach she took was like trying to, I guess, pacify like a child.
Yes.
Like, I'll give you one more chance.
But right,
and
then
that was just so she can put that, and it was obvious on the record or what have you, that she gave him every opportunity at every single turn to do the right thing, and he would just repeatedly, no matter what was being done, went the wrong way every time.
But right,
that's a good point.
As a mom of a toddler, I have a son that's almost 3. I can tell you this is how you treat them when you're dealing with a public or a big event. You kind of have to pacify them to try to get the best, their best version of themselves. So you're really just kind of out there just trying to keep them in line. And
so wait, let me ask you something, right? If you give your toddler I'm gonna count to 3, and you get to 3 and you don't follow up on your threats, isn't that toddler isn't part of his brain gonna
right
realize,
all
like,
over you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying she was perfect in that. She should have like
that's when the toddler just
3, but like I get where she was coming from. I need to treat this with kid gloves, because
I think at times she tried different tactics and to deal with him. And I think one of them was the way, like, you as a parent, you try to deal with a child. And then she realized very quickly that even that's not going to work.
Even the fucking mom tactics are not working on this man.
Yeah.
Because it was finally towards the end when he was like, "Are you asking me or telling you?" And telling me to sit. And she finally said, "I'm telling you." She says, "I'm asking." Then it was a couple days later, "I'm advising you." And then she finally said, "I'm telling you."
Richie,
and he shut his mouth.
So if you ever see an episode of Super Nanny, it's total
what I was trying to say
101.
Was toward the end. So speaking of like him being her like the mom or whatever, but like he would do this weird thing like toward the end, like day 13, 14, 15. He'd be like, "See, Judge, I didn't interrupt you." So it's like she totally took that mom role with the whole like sit down. But then when he would be good, she would have to like commend him to hopefully not get him to fucking go off the handle again. So it's like she did this weird like, "I just want to make note you did a good job yesterday." It's like, "See, Judge, I didn't interrupt you." So it's like this weird like mother-son thing.
Yeah, like the day she got like an entire record out, and he goes, "See, I didn't interrupt you." Like he wanted her to give him a cookie or something. And like pat him on his head, like, "You did a good job, boy."
My 3-year-old loves Dum Dum lollipops. I'm just saying, they work really well.
You get a bag of those things for like $2.
See, I don't know if I'm convinced that a judge has to be
anything for a Dum Dum.
Yeah, or ramen.
I don't know that I'm convinced that a judge has to be like a mom to a toddler. Like for one thing, it's not uncommon for killers to try to disrupt the trial and be disruptive in every way that they can. And if you look into it, there's a lot of trials that have happened where they just slap a muzzle on the guy and just get through the trial and throw him in prison. And there's no appeal. Especially in this case where there was so much evidence.
I think there's more than one way to skin a cat, and this was her approach to deal with it. She probably that's how she deals with things, and it probably comes from the background of her first background is she was a defense attorney, so her heart breaks for people. She has that brain to immediately look at a defense and making sure they're getting that, and so she's going to try to.
Well, I saw an interview with her. The college that Judge Darrell went to was a faith-based law school.
Yeah, I saw that same interview. It's very fascinating that she doesn't even, and he like tries to throw the whole religion thing back in her face, which is like so ironic because like
don't think God doesn't see you.
Someone fed him that information. I think that was one of the reasons he tried to hit it so hard is someone fed him that information of like, oh, this judge. I mean, everybody in that town, when you're in a jail for that long, you're going to know, what judge did you get? What do you know about this judge?
And
you
she
shared
grew
that
up in
information.
Waukesha County. Like, she's from Waukesha,
Yeah.
Judge
Oh, yeah.
Darrell. Like, she's born and bred there, you know?
Yep.
So joke's on Darrell Brooks. So he speaks the Bible and God in this. Like his Bible has the Waukesha County Jail written on the fucking
The
Bible.
logo,
He's
yeah.
like, oh, it's
And the big black
not even his.
Sharpie.
Like he took it
It's
from the
not even
library.
yours. It's not even yours. You stole it from the jail.
He's like, well, I guess you can have this back. I'm done with it.
There's little pen pieces in it.
The end of the trial, he gives it back. I'm all set with this now. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, you know, you can only take out a book for 2 weeks from the library. He had to return it and renew it.
Well, he had no more use for it. It was just
Yeah.
a prop to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his prop.
I love when she
Did you ever
told him,
notice?
she was like, I never see a page turn in that Bible.
Turning.
Oh my God.
I'm not interrupting.
So true.
Give me 1 second. The juror will be out momentarily. Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
I would like to state for the record, the prosecution seems to be saying this with firsthand knowledge.
Are you referring to
Oh my
the
God.
issue we're talking about right now?
Correct, Your Honor.
Is there
Yeah, 'cause she was a
question
plant.
with that, or I'm not understanding why you're raising that at this moment.
Well, I'm
He works
raising
for the
it
state, Judge, obviously. The
because
juror that
it-
flipped him off is he's
the-
working with the prosecution.
Obvious.
It's obvious.
The prosecution said that, and they stated that they knew for a fact that this juror is not the juror that I'm speaking of.
I said that.
Well,
You want to run the record back?
prosecution said it too, Your Honor.
I provided the information, said I've been able to confirm the identity of the person who made an inappropriate gesture to you at your initial appearance. And then based upon the informal questioning of the juror that you suspected was that, determined confirmed that she was not that individual, and then subsequent to confirming that with that informal information, I was able to do some additional questioning of law enforcement and others to determine the identity of that other person and confirm, in fact, that what you said happened. But it's not this juror, but we're going to bring that juror out just so you can, or I will, question her about that. So there's a very clear record that your concern and whether one of the jurors on this panel was at your initial appearance and made an inappropriate gesture can be put to bed once and for all, so that you're satisfied they are two different people, okay?
So that you can shut up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Just can sit in the jury box. She's a juror.
The jury comes out like everything's
She may
fine.
be
He's like, no,
an open question, but she's a juror.
it was the other juror.
Film her, take her photograph.
Yeah, let's make his way down the list till they're all gone.
Go ahead. She can just sit in one of the spots in the jury box.
See him just staring, just gawking at that juror.
Good
Oh,
morning.
I don't remember this.
Have
So
a
they
seat.
actually do bring her out.
I just want to put on
Yeah.
the record, this is juror number 41.
This poor woman.
And, you are not in trouble. We just have had an issue come up.
Imagine
wanted
being
to-
her. Nate, can you? Yeah. Imagine you're just on the jury, just doing your thing, and all of a sudden one of the bailiffs comes in and is like, "You come with me."
Come with
And
me.
then you get brought
Put
into
your
the
ass down
courtroom,
and come with me.
and Darrell is fucking glaring at you like that. Oh my fucking god, dude! My skin would crawl.
You can almost see him smile, like he's just playing right now.
Like, who I
he's
might get this over.
Like he knows it's not her, and he's just like, "Oh man, I am fucking with this bitch so bad right now."
yeah.
Oh god.
To make sure we all had accurate information. At any point in time, did you attend any of the proceedings in this matter regarding Mr. Brooks? Were you ever at the initial appearance for Mr. Brooks? All right. State have any follow-up based on that?
Yeah.
Mr. Brooks, any follow-up based on what I've asked this witness, or what I've asked this juror, sorry.
No.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
she's so kind. I love Judge Darrow's cadence. Like I am slowly watching this trial over again, like falling in love with her all over again. Like regardless
She's
of the
like
fact
the
that
people's judge.
She's just such a nice person.
I mean she is beautiful, but it goes beyond that. Like just the down to earth, like salt of the earth way that she speaks to everyone with like such respect. Like it's very clear that she takes, as much as he calls her out that you're a public servant, she really does
Yeah.
take that. You can tell that she takes this job very seriously and cares about every person that comes through there. Like just the way she dealt with that juror, she knew that this was going to be upsetting to her, and she like immediately takes a second before they even start. Like you're not in any trouble. Like oh my god, I just such a saint.
But she took the time to make sure that she, her nerves were in like up and on alert, and that she was just calm and this is what's happening, and didn't just go in and ask her a bunch of questions.
But at the end, you can tell she truly cared about all those victims. Like when she gave her statements, you can just tell she legitimately like cared for each and every one of them.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, like I said, she's from Waukesha, so this actually happened in her community, So, you feel for your community on a whole, and even the people who aren't from there. I mean, I feel horrible for everybody, and that was even whether they had somebody injured or a family member that it happened to. Just to be there and see that kind of thing has got to be horrifying.
Do we ever hear what the day, the 21st of 2021 was like for Darrow? Does she ever say that? Like how she, because you got to figure she probably has enough foresight to know that whoever this person is that ran through the parade is going to be in my courtroom. So I'm very curious. I really want to know what that would look like for her, finding out about
what that
this
day
awful
was for her. Yeah. As
like,
a member of the community.
I hope she writes a book. God, I hope she writes a book.
Yeah. I would read that thing in a second, and I don't even read.
No, man, I would want her to narrate it. I'd want her to use her words, and I'd want to listen to her voice. Could you, like, in her voice, her little Wisconsin accent when she says sorry?
Yes.
Oh!
Sorry. Will she ever be allowed to talk about the case?
She's not about the case. Like when reporters ask her questions, she'll always veer away from talking about him specifically.
I'm sure she'll keep it about the tragedy and not trying to give him the limelight. And maybe when she retires, she will be able to write. And of course, after Supreme Court says there ain't nothing gonna turn nothing over, I'm sure she's being quiet until then.
Yeah, once all the appeals are exhausted, or if they can even do that. But yeah, I mean, all judges do. People write, judges write books all the time.
I can't believe she lost the race for Supreme Court. I figured that was a shoo-in.
It's almost like they wanted her to fail or something because she did such a good job. Like I said, I think her personality or her tactics, I think, was able to get us through. But I think it was a big test for her, and I was really shocked to see that she didn't make it.
Wait till she's back out of the courtroom because there's a hallway behind me, and then ask a follow-up. Are they gone? Mr. Brooks, we brought out juror number 41. Was that the same juror that you initially suspected was someone who was at your initial appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And again, she denied. She said she told us she wasn't there, and I trust that satisfies your inquiry into this issue.
I'm still a little leery, but
of course,
I'm still a little leery.
Yeah, after they've proven it.
I'm not interrupting them.
Go ahead.
I say that because I don't forget faces. I don't.
All right, I understand what you're saying, but the record.
What about the 69
clear.
faces you fucking ran over in your car? You forget those faces?
I hope Jackson, I hope he remembers that kid's face forever.
Oh, God.
No, he didn't see their faces. He ran them over from behind.
Oh, true. Good
Dude,
point.
so I made the mistake of finding the video
Oh, don't
of
do
that
that.
act happening. Like
Yeah,
it's still on
Don't do that.
there.
Do not recommend.
No.
The only one I've seen is like the parade, the band, and yeah, I don't need to see anymore. It's horrifying.
You
No.
can cut that if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
And I'll make a finding that juror number 41 was not at your initial appearance and is not the person who made an inappropriate gesture to you either at or following that hearing. All right, then any other issues from the state?
Yes, Judge, just briefly, a few. From yesterday's testimony, we'd like to move into evidence Exhibit 1, which was the map. Exhibit 3, which was the video played during Corey Runkle's testimony. And Exhibit 5, which is the photograph of Erica Patterson.
Which has got scotch in there.
They were all testified to yesterday.
Any objection? Mr. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor. I guess it would be to the terms of relevancy. There's been no testimony from Ms. Patterson, so I'm just curious to know the relevancy of that being made evidence at this point in time, because from what was said yesterday was that she would be testifying at some point. Would it not be better to have that admitted then if she decides to testify instead of right now when we're not even sure if she is going to testify?
Your objections are noted for the record. There was a proper foundation laid regarding each one of these exhibits. They also are relevant to the issues within this trial, and I'll admit exhibits 1, 3, and 5, and also advise the jury when they come back into court this morning.
Your Honor, I'm not interrupting, am I?
And I'm not to you yet if there are any issues, any other issues from the state.
Yes, Your Honor, I would just like the record to indicate that I understand we did not follow up with this after the lunch break on the record, but it was my understanding that Mr. Brooks did receive the medical attention that he was seeking over the lunch hour.
That was absolutely sickening. Him complaining about cuts and bruises.
So they
complaining about
did treat
cuts
him?
and bruises.
They did give him a medical treatment? I missed that.
Yeah. He was complaining about cuts and bruises when they had to force him to the other courtroom. He had the audacity and the balls to demand medical attention because he had like a minor cut and some bruises.
Yeah, a little paper cut on his pinky.
Considering what he did, he's just it was fucking sickening.
He's
so
just
tone deaf.
Yeah.
But I thought he says that he asked for a nurse and they don't send him one.
No, they did at the lunch break because he kept saying he was bleeding.
Oh,
but
God.
Nobody saw the blood because he said it's because I wiped it on my pants. Nobody sees blood in your pants either.
A cut is so small that you wipe it off once and it's done bleeding.
It's
you
gone,
need to be seen by a nurse. Like, oh my God.
And bruises. His bruises appeared in seconds.
And finally, Your Honor.
But don't worry, because she healed them. Because the nurse.
They tended to his bruise.
It's just a reminder to Mr. Brooks as to the other act's evidence. In line with his questioning of Corey Runkle yesterday, Erica Patterson will be testifying.
Runkle is fucking great. I love Runkle.
Issued a ruling as to the other act's evidence. The state strictly abided by that. Mr. Brooks came very close several times to opening the door to that testimony. We treaded very lightly on purpose to be respectful of the court's ruling, but the court warned him twice. Mr. Witschow even personally went over and warned Mr. Brooks.
That was awesome, like him getting up to help him because he knows he's done.
He gets right in his face too. He is not scared of this man whatsoever.
Not one bit.
He charges over there and gets in Darrell's face. It is like, I watched that and it's like, holy fuck. This man, he's like fucking doming him in that moment. Like it's crazy.
Well, he's standing over him.
You can actually see
Darrell's
Darrell
looking up at him like a little child. And
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
you can
like,
actually see
"You
Darrell
can't talk
slightly like
about that."
power down.
Oh yeah, you definitely paid attention to what he was saying,
You see him like
and you could see
slide
him.
back
He's
into his
going like,
shoulders.
Yeah.
well,
Just,
no, I guess when he explained to him like, you're not supposed to talk about that because that opens the door to basically you having this domestic violence history with Erica, and you can see his eyes like kind of widened a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
It's funny, Witcho has to like daddy up on him to teach him how to lawyer.
Yeah,
That's to help him. The prosecution needs to help Darrell
he
just to
literally. Could you imagine?
keep things fair.
Yeah, he literally walks over to the table and says, "No, no, no, you can't do that."
To a man
Oh
who
yeah,
kicked,
I
who
remember that.
killed 6 people
To
and
6 people.
does not flinch an inch. You could tell he knows in his heart, I could fucking destroy this guy.
yeah.
Before we start another round
Legally
of
and physically.
challenges, potentially during this Patterson's testimony, we just wanted to make a record of that so that Mr. Brooks knows if he opens
It's all
the door
about the
to that other
hairline.
ex
Like
testimony,
his hairline is so much better.
Witchow?
Yeah. Like what are you gonna do with that hairline?
Such a babe.
come in.
He has a better hairline and
Do
his
that
suit
as
fits.
well. Mr. Brooks, on the issue of medical attention, did you see the jail nurse or other medical personnel during the lunch hour yesterday?
Yes, I did. I received a cleaning of my cut and a bandage.
What the fuck?
They gave me a
Thank you.
SpongeBob Band-Aid
Sorry.
and they kissed my boo-boo.
I have acquired a bandage for my cut, Your Honor. God dang.
It has pictures of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Just so you're aware, I'm not interrupting, but it did have SpongeBob.
But I
Few
didn't get a
bruises that
lollipop,
I
so
have
I
on
object.
my arm and legs as well. I don't know what's gonna happen behind that, but I was looked at.
That's why he was
All right,
fatigued.
thank you.
With COVID.
Does not appear to me that any of these
Yeah,
injuries
he's a mess right now. He shouldn't even be in trial. He's got COVID. He's covered in cuts, lacerations.
Got a toothache.
He ran out of bandages, so like that's how bad it is.
Hard
Have
luck.
to adjourn. Yeah, we have
interfering
to
in any way
adjourn.
with your ability to be here today and assist in your own defense.
He's like, I'm so glad you are healed enough to be here.
Yeah,
We appreciate you muscling through all of this trauma. You're a real trooper, sir.
He's like,
oh gosh,
he's so fatigued, but he was like standing the whole time. He's like, I'm so fatigued and tired. Like, I don't know what's going on. But it's like, well, dude, fucking sit down. He's like, standing the whole time.
Really. I like how even in this moment where she knows it's absolute bullshit, she still is treating him with the utmost respect and not calling him out on this stupid fucking boo-boo thing.
I'm surprised he didn't
It's
go
like-
back to his cell and like beat himself up like Jim Carrey in Liar Liar.
How am I going to get out of this? Think! Owie! Owie!
What the hell are you doing?
I'm kicking my ass! Do you mind?
I like the movie Fear when he starts hitting himself in the chest. He's just like,
God, that liar liar scene. I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind?
You're just a little sore, so.
Just a little
Right.
tender.
Mr. Brooks, do you understand what the state is referencing as it relates to the other act's evidence?
I do not understand.
Do you recall being in
Shocking.
court at the end of August when the court addressed a number of motions, including a motion brought by the state to admit other acts?
And with all respect, Your Honor, this whole process is very, very new to me. So I'm trying to I guess, stay within bounds of the questions that I'm allowed to ask. If I color outside the line, so to speak, it is not intentionally.
Bullshit.
I'm basically learning as I go.
So I'm going to have my clerk print out the motion
Right,
for
but
other.
that's not their problem.
Yeah, really. Like,
You wanted to represent yourself, so you have to act like a lawyer, and they're going to treat you like a lawyer. And if you bring that evidence in, even though they've repeatedly told him, and this is for his benefit, that they can't say about the history of domestic violence, because then that would prejudice it could prejudice their outlook on who he is as a person. Like, if he beats a woman, would that automatically make him guilty of running over 68 people? But he's so wrapped up, he doesn't even understand that keeping that out is for his benefit.
Yeah.
Swear it's just because he has like that borderline personality disorder, and he just can't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they expect, and he fully expects them, because he's new at this, and he's kind of winging it and trying to, if he colors outside the lines a little, it's not intentional, so you can't hold that against me.
You can tell he has been coddled his whole life, that people have just been like, okay, like.
Well, I'm sure part of it is just so he would shut up.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. But they were like, he's just been allowed to do whatever.
He almost like expects them to like quickly put him through 4 years of law school in preparation for this trial. Like, he is so uneducated in courtroom procedure and law. He doesn't even know what he doesn't know, and just immediately jumps to things that he's owed and the state fucking hiding things. It's so ridiculous to me that somebody who is so uneducated about what is going on around him would make such bold assertions with no evidence to back up otherwise, mind you. He just immediately jumps to, that's wrong, what's happening now is illegal. It's like, dude, you have no fucking idea if it's illegal or not. The fact that you're commenting on it right now.
Thinks he can be he is just as smart as them. The narcissism in him says that he can do that. He's seen courtroom TV. He could do that. Like, what's the big fucking deal? And it's like, big deal is they have a lot of education. Even the judge gave him like literally the book of rules, and he didn't even open it.
No, he said, I don't have that. And she's like, well, it's sitting right there next to the microphone.
I gave
it to you as a courtesy.
They gave him the laminated sheet of rules written in crayon.
Yeah. The rules of evidence.
It's like when you go to Denny's and they give you the kids menu.
The kids menu.
It's got pictures on it.
Acts that was filed by the state, along with the response that was filed by your attorneys at that time, and further advise you the court did not grant the state's request to admit other acts as it relates to your conduct with Erica Patterson prior to November 21 of 2021. And your questions yesterday of Ms. Runkle could have opened the door to the court revisiting that issue. That's why the court stopped. It was interesting. Ms. Runkle clearly was advised not to talk about other acts. The state followed the requirement that they advise their witnesses about the court's order as it relates to other acts. And I believe I kind of paused twice and said, are you sure you want to answer that? I referenced generally some prior rulings so as not to alert the jury to anything more than that. And then at one point, Attorney Wichow also came over, muted your microphone. I don't know what was said, but my understanding is he basically kind of gave you the
daddied
same
up on him.
Caution. There's a ruling, something to that effect. And I know you didn't proceed with the questions that you had originally attempted to ask this witness. So it's very clear what we're talking about. Again, I'm going to give you these filings so that you understand what I prohibited in this trial. And the record should reflect those filings are being provided. Madam Clerk, do you happen to have the document numbers for those? Sorry, I should. 170. Document 170. And 161. So documents 170 and 161 were provided to Mr. Brooks. So the only other thing I'll say on that, sir, is if you ask questions, I'm not going, that would open up the door potentially, or at least ask questions that call for answers that might fall within that order that I issued. You do that at your own peril, and you may open the door to the state bringing in other witnesses and other testimony about those issues. So I want you to be advised of that. You are correct that when the state made the request, I prohibited the state from introducing that evidence. So you're not incorrect when you say I didn't, when you kind of referenced about that was, there's a difference between me prohibiting you and prohibiting the state. But from my perspective, the order that I issued was to your benefit. And so you can ask those questions. You're not prohibited, but then you potentially open the door to that information becoming admissible in this case. So I want you to be advised of that.
May I quick, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
I would just like to say that I accept for value in return for value these filings. I do believe that I have a little bit more clarity, if that helps.
Thank you for putting that on the record. Do you have any other issues you want me to address?
Just very, very quick. I still don't understand the nature and cause of the charges against me, Your Honor, and
Shut up! I hate
motion
this. The
for
whole
or
fucking. I
change
don't
the
understand.
Yeah.
for the jurisdiction to be proven, the subject matter jurisdiction.
Okay, so what doesn't he understand? You got in a car and drove over a bunch of people.
He understands full and damn well.
Yeah.
You were completely stone sober. They did all the things. Like, for once in your life, you weren't high.
It's just him grasping at straws. That's all it is. Just him grasping at whatever he can to delay.
I think he says that because he can't be. They're like, oh, you can't. If he doesn't understand, then you can't send him to prison because he doesn't want to go to prison because he's an SO. So he knows what
But there's a difference between not understanding and not being competent. And he's so stupid, he does not realize there's a difference.
Well, he's
thinking
a law advice.
I'm assuming that if he's saying he doesn't understand, then that would be the same thing as being as not competent.
They actually take like a good couple of days when they're going through his waiver of attorneys, talking about this exact issue. Like, how can somebody represent yourself if you don't understand the charges? And Darrell really takes a minute to be like, I don't know if I can even let you defend yourself. Like,
and that's when he stopped.
She asked him like 5 different ways. Like,
so, but based on what his attorneys talk about the whole thing, the court has a duty to inform a defendant of the charges. They do not have a responsibility whatsoever to make sure that he doesn't understand. You even hear Darrell at one point say, your lack of understanding is not a defense for any of this. It's very well written in the law that just because he does not understand why he is being prosecuted is not going to stop anybody from fucking charging him with these offenses.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same
No
argument
more than
of people saying, well, I didn't know I was breaking the law. And it's like, well, just because you didn't know it was against the law does not make it different from you still breaking the law. I'm sorry you didn't know that murdering a bunch of people by running them over is against the law.
Yeah, ignorance is not a defense. I think he latches on to some like phrase or wording in the law itself that made him think about like why he can put on this claim of not understanding, like the intentional thing, for example. Like perhaps it's written in what's defined as murder as intentional homicide, right? That's why in his closing argument he goes so hard on this wasn't intentional, because in his mind it's not his fault. Erica pissed him off, so it wasn't intentional. Like, just because I'm choosing to hit the gas pedal, I was angry, so that doesn't count.
Well, no, to him, all of this is Erica's fault, and Erica should be sitting where he is right now and not him, because Erica caused all of this.
Yeah, it just kills me when he's like, well, it takes two. And I'm like, well, in the same instance that, like, she was a victim and that you hurt her, yes, it took two.
It took two.
It took him to hit her. That's the only part of the two parts. She was not an active, willing participant in this.
I know, right? Like, yes, it physically takes two people for abuse to happen. There has to be somebody there for you to hit, you fucking psycho.
So I want to know, I would love to know if, because they asked her how old she was, right? And she said, oh, today's my birthday. Then they asked her how old her child was, and they know how old Brooks is. I'm wondering if did anybody put it together that because they had to take out, they couldn't say that he's a registered sex offender.
That was them dancing around it.
They all put it together that she was obviously a juvenile or, you know, underage.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, the way Zach did that. Oh yeah, he was fucking.
How old are you? How old's your child?
Yeah,
all
like
it takes is one juror.
Has no bearings on this case, but we're gonna ask anyways, just because we can't say sex offender.
Right, and the picture of that baby is their grandchild.
Yeah,
but he made it seem like it was his child, but it's actually his and Erica's 15-year-old daughter's child. So it's their grandchild.
Yeah, but he's not old to age standards. I'm like, dude, you're a grandpa.
Yeah, you're a 40-year-old grandpa to a minor, you know.
He literally is a grandpa. I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah,
Grandpa
those
Brooks in his fucking wheelchair.
Grandpa. So he has, you know, 2 generations who don't even want to deal with him, or 3.
Yeah, Erica says that their child doesn't want shit to do with him because he's always been awful to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't that the daughter that he goes on this whole thing about, like, we have a very special relationship, isn't it? It's her, right?
Yeah. Well, in the interrogation, he made it seem like all that his son is he said grown, which is 18 years old. That's just legal. That has nothing to do with being grown. I mean, my daughter is 23 and she still, you know, needs me for stuff. You know?
Especially nowadays. It's like you're not even really a full adult until you hit 30.
Right. And that he says since the pandemic and since he lost his job at the metal place or whatever, that
we can hear you.
Has his kids almost every day. His kids don't even live in Milwaukee.
I got my kids the back half of the week. Yeah, it's so egregiously false.
Their daughter lives in Georgia, the one that they share, and that's where she had the grandbaby.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a 7-year-old that doesn't live with him. That's the one he's saying that he has this super close attachment to. And I'm like, you know, you also killed a 7-year-old, so maybe you should, I don't know, shut the fuck up a little bit.
Ooh. Is the girl who spoke on his behalf, the one with the seizures or whatever, is she one of his?
No, she is not a baby
mama.
No? She's not a baby mama.
Okay, I
she
wasn't
was
sure.
Always just like quote unquote friends with Darrell. Erica thought maybe they messed around a little bit in the past, but
so never. It's just somebody he manipulated who needed. You know, she was kind of whatever, and he was able to manipulate.
Attention, and he would give it to her when he needed something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he would pop in and live with her for a year, and then he was probably making it sound like, oh, this could be beneficial for both of us because you have your seizures and I can help you.
Yeah,
and you know, I'm gonna sacrifice myself and come and help you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he manipulated her 100%. I mean, that's what he did with everybody around him.
Yeah, he's like like I think you guys said it once before. He's like the 20-something-year-old who hangs out with like eighth graders. And just because they're still like to them they're cool, and
the failure to launch like to an nth degree.
Yeah, it's like you're the only one who doesn't realize you're not cool, buddy.
Is he the 45-year-old that would like be wearing his class ring if he could? If he had
varsity jacket, if he had one. Still talking about how he made that touchdown at the,
it's not far
big
off
game.
from how he already is. I mean, he goes down to his high school to record his little rap music videos. It very much reminds me of like that gangster that I went to high school with, who's like still trying to make it as a street thug.
Really?
It's like,
it reminds me of like Al Bundy.
Yeah, like still selling the T-shirts and stuff, and like, come on, you can have a T-shirt printed. That doesn't mean you have a clothing line.
Yeah. Yo, let me give you my AP,
my EP out of the trunk of my car. I got T-shirts. I got merch.
I can hear it. I can feel this guy trying to give me his fucking
line.
rap CD. Yeah, check me out on Twitter, yo.
For just $5, you can have this CD.
Yeah. You guys ever been to New York where they like you bump into those guys and they like swindle you out of money? It happened to me like twice where I just because they're preying on like polite people who just don't want to tell them like I'm not interested. So they'll give you one of their CDs, and then as you go to walk away, they're like, "Oh, so what? You're just gonna take that?" And I forget exactly how they do it, but they prey on people who are like my exact personality type, where it's just like, "Oh no, I would never steal from you."
Oh, they do that.
I live
in, like,
45 minutes from New York.
Communities.
I just walk past them.
Yeah, they do that in all the tourist communities.
almost...
They'll do it with like bracelets and stuff like that. Like I've been to the Bahamas and stuff like that where they do the same type of thing where they like try to give you a bracelet and they're like, "Oh no, it's a gift. It's a gift." And then you try to walk away and they're like, "No, but $20."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I almost bought this like contemporary gospel rap albums one time. Like he had like this satchel and he's like, "Hey man, got this demo." I was like, "Well, it's not really my jam," but he just like kept talking and talking. Like I almost forked over $10. I was like, "Wait, no, dude, I'm good. I don't want that."
It's like worth the money just to get out of the
just
conversation.
To get him out of the way, yeah.
I'll give you $5 to turn around and walk away.
That really reminds me of Brooks. Like I feel like he would have been great at that job.
Oh yeah, like selling magazines still or something like that. Like he's still, I don't know. Yeah.
It's like a Jedi mind trick. I don't know how they do it. It's like you sit there talking to them for 10 minutes and then somehow you're paying them to walk away. Like, how did we get here?
Dude, Brooks absolutely 100%, I'm convinced, was like some super triple diamond, like Herbalife salesman like who goes around and is like, "I have an amazing opportunity." Like he absolutely was like a pyramid scheme guy who like tried to sell cleaning products or Herbalife.
Kirby vacuums.
Kirby vacuums, yeah. What's the yoga pants? Oh Christ, that's escaping me now.
Oh,
LuLaRoe. I know what you're saying. LuLaRoe.
So I'm this.
Yes, LuLaRoe.
So I'm like a pretty big pyramid scheme nerd. Like I'm always looking into like just the tactics they use, like just those like gross like sales tactics. Like he absolutely has that written all over him. Like, "Oh, do you need your husband to let you know if you can buy something?" Like one of those guys who's like, "No, I'm not interested. I got to talk to my, husband or wife." He's like, "Oh, do you have to ask him to buy gas?" Like
But everyone trying to sell you a pyramid scheme has already fallen for it themselves.
Yeah,
they're already a victim themselves.
I don't think he would pyramid scheme because I don't think he would conform, but I do think he would be like a hustler. Like out here, you get a lot of them like that will try to come up and be like, "Oh, can I redo your driveway?" Or, can I do this for you? It'll only be like $800 and they have all the equipment in their car.
Having like a downline would be his things, like getting people to hustle
get
for
their
him.
deposit and then leave.
Yeah, I don't see this man conforming to the strict rules and regulations of those pyramid schemes. I mean, the paperwork alone would drive this man away.
I mean, he'd have to put his name on something.
Yeah. Wear a name tag.
Well, plus you have to actually buy the first couple of Kirby vacuums with your own money, and that's obviously not
Yes.
going to
Your
happen.
money.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
Where is he
true.
going to keep those? In his trunk?
Well, I have the TVs in the way.
Motion for finding a fact.
Your requests are all noted for the record, and for the reasons previously stated on this record, I'm not going to answer those requests any further. They've already been denied by the court. I'd point you to the case of the Beneby decision, 654 F. 3rd 753. All right. Anything else, sir?
I'm not interrupting, am I?
I'm asking you a question.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I would like the record to reflect, is that a judicial determination that you are making?
Yeah.
She's the judge. She made a
Brooks,
determination.
the record speaks for itself. I've made my decision. We're moving on. All right. With that, then, state have a witness available to be called.
What's he getting at with that whole judicial determination thing? Like, every decision she makes is a judicial determination. I don't understand what the motivation is there.
Yeah, because she references to, like, you know, when he asks her something, she's like, well, you don't have to say we're on the record because we're literally on the record. So you having me repeat things for the record, like, it doesn't have to be because we're on the record. It's just like dumb shit he's trying to come up with.
It's just being obnoxious, I think.
Yeah, he wants to draw this out. So he's like, "Oh, is that law? And can you quote it? And can you explain it to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, she doesn't have to spoon feed this.
Can I have it time stamped?"
I like how he always puts the impetus on the judge to supply, quote unquote lawful law for whatever is going on. It's like, oh, I'm stamping my feet. I can stamp my feet if I want to. Show me lawful law where it says people can't stamp their feet. It's like, no, you're the one who's doing the crazy thing. The impetus is not on me to find a law that specifically cites why you can't do something, but rather you should have law to back up why you are doing something.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Also, just make a record, Your Honor, this morning that Mr. Brooks does appear again in his orange jail uniform, and that he was offered the ability to wear street clothes and declined that offer. Also, he does have appears to have all of his discovery materials at the table with him.
Yes, thank you. I should make a record of that as well. I didn't state at the outset Mr. Brooks is here in person and in custody. He once again has come to the courtroom in jail attire. I presume Mr. Brooks, but please confirm.
So why do we think that he's doing Zoom this next time, that he's like, yeah, I don't need to be there in person?
I had somebody comment on... What?
That's why I assumed probably just so he doesn't have to keep going back and forth.
I figured he has to wake up early for that.
But that's like the only time he gets out of his little box. And he gets all the attention. That's what he wants.
That was my whole position on the whole thing. Like, it breaks up the monotony, right? Like, he probably gets like a little bag lunch. He gets to go out and see the world, but somebody
he gets to take a car ride. I mean, I'm just thinking, if I was stuck in a box, I would love a car ride.
Yeah, fucking Darrell's big day out.
Oh, spaghetti dinner coming my way.
But
you
somebody
could write
had
a children's book.
Somebody had said on the video I posted last night about that, because I commented on it, that in jail the whole procedure of getting taken out and then brought to these court hearings and then brought back is like so much monotonous, like sitting and waiting, and the whole process is so fucking painful that whenever you can, you want to try to avoid it. So I guess there is like kind of two schools of thought. I believe Brooks prescribes to, like we just said, like it's better to get out and about in the world than it is to fucking rot in the cell. But I guess there are some prisoners that just...
He doesn't want to squat and cough, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe for just like the half hour for their little check-in kind of meetings is
he's gonna miss
pretty
shower
much what
time.
they have been. Yeah, he doesn't want to miss the shower and the once or 3 weeks that he gets
He's like
an
June
electric
5th. No,
razor.
that's a spaghetti dinner night.
Yeah.
That's the day they let us have the fingernail clippers.
Well, he missed that day a couple times.
Yeah, more than a couple times.
Like, which would you rather do? Sit around in your pod or stand at the DMV
Well,
for 3 hours?
he's in
Basically
like
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
special custody. So he kind of hangs out with himself and the other couple of people who are in protective custody. So he's not in like a general population, and they moved him to a different jail. I think
he's
closer
pissed that
to
he's not
Milwaukee.
Gen Pop. He wants to be
they'll
in
never
Gen Pop.
put him in. Well,
And I'm like, why?
How stupid in Waukesha County? Could you imagine?
I was about to say, he's gonna get fucking killed by somebody if they put him in general
Does
pop.
he not know what they did to Dahmer
Yeah.
Oh,
in the same jail?
He's
And
probably
that
going to be
was
isolated for a very, very, very
and he
long time.
wasn't
Like, he'll
even
probably be
locked up where he
isolated for the
came
most
from.
part.
Dahmer was a shish
Why is
kebab.
he still in that wheelchair? Why is Darrell Brooks still in that wheelchair?
I think.
I mean, is that a way to control
wheelchair
him?
because he's convicted.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's so they can tie him down.
In a different county, that's probably their rules because it's not in Waukesha County. So their county is like, oh, you're convicted of all these counts, so you have no reason to you have every reason to run.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, we saw what it was like, day one where they're trying to escort him. Well, we don't see it, obviously. We hear about it, but when he fucking locks up his legs and won't walk, it's probably got to be so much easier to just put these people in a chair, chain them down, and then just push them to and fro.
Around.
We got to see your wonderful reenactment.
Like luggage. Oh yeah.
That was hysterical.
I would love to do like some reenactment. I'll probably do it in pro wrestling, but I'll probably do like how you said on the test results, how he like jumped on the desk and like tried to sit on the paper. Like when the trying to get
his table in a Darrell Brooks outfit, that'd be fucking awesome, Richie. You should totally do that.
In deep trouble. No. Kane with a run. No. Oh my God. Kane just chokeslammed the Rock through the announce table.
I will totally do a wrestling skit with
hands.
Someone trying to get my positive or negative results and just like jump on it and try to have people fucking DDT me just to get some test results.
No, whoever the baby face is needs to be dressed up like Judge Darrow.
Yes.
Judge Darrow versus Darrell Brooks.
Done.
I really wish they would have showed him like laying on the
It's totally happening.
results and then like tugging at them from underneath them. What a child.
There's so much that's going to be released as documents are being released. Oh my gosh, there's so much we don't know.
I know. I need to put in a request for the like the evidence and all that.
The jailhouse calls.
Yes. Oh my God, I'd kill for those.
Yeah, like I saw a clip of.
Request in for those?
What's that?
Did you put a request in for those?
Yeah, I think so. Alexandria did that for this family. This family does everything. She put in that's how she got those filings. Where we got the information for what happened during the break day one. You put in just like any other case. You know what I mean? It has to be a matter of public record by law, where it takes a certain amount of time.
Right.
Yeah, because they're video.
It's like the Freedom of Information Act.
Yes, that's exactly. You're exactly right. What, Richie?
They posted this video. Like I couldn't find the whole thing, but it was like this guy went to interview him, and they're on the phone, and it was like one of his, guys that was, like behind him. It was sickening, him talking shit about Erica, like to Darrell Brooks, and pretty much like backing him up. It was absolutely insane.
Jay
Like,
Prince?
I
Was
don't.
it the guy that
It
was
may have been
sitting
him, but like I
behind
said,
him?
they didn't show the entire interview, but they said he was just totally like, yeah, fucking Erica was the cause of all this. It's like
Yeah, that
sickening.
was the guy who was
People
sitting
That's
behind
Jay
him
standing
in
Prince.
behind
court.
him. It's
His
gross.
name is Jay Prince, and he is a gross
I
human.
think he's the Reddit guy
Yeah.
too.
Yes,
I don't
100%.
want to give him any more fucking attention on
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
channel.
He's
Because he loves it. That's why he's doing it. You know, he's
oh
like
yeah,
pulling the Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, say something controversial so everybody talks about me, and it's working. We're doing it.
100%.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Really happy with the way this one came out. I thought we had a good group, had some good back and forth. Like I said in the intro, as I initially suspected, you guys all have great insights and opinions, and it really was a cool time watching the case with you guys. So I really implore you, if this is something you think you'd like to participate in. I don't think we have any firm spots locked down for next weekend, so come join us. I'll link the Discord down in the description. Just hop in there, shoot me a message, and we'll save you a spot. Gonna keep this video series going, I think. Even if this video doesn't do as well as the others, it was really fun to get to know you guys and discuss the case. So even, going beyond Brooks, I think this will be a format that I'm going to be using for a long time going forward. Not in all my uploads, mind you, but, for sure an ongoing series that you'll, be able to look forward to on the channel. I really thought it was cool sitting down and talking the case with you guys, so hit me up if you want to participate. Beyond that, you can support the channel through Super Chats. You can tip me on Cash App. There's merch. You can get yourself the Darrell t-shirt.
What?
If you want an in-video shout-out. Patreon, it's only $1. Links in the description too. All that stuff goes towards the goal of making this content better and making more of it. So if you enjoyed what you just watched, I'd just, quickly ask to contribute if you can. And if not, no big deal at all. We still love having you here. So, barring all that, drop me a like, sub if you're not, and we'll see you in the next video, okay? Alright.